Thank you. Have you ever gotten exactly what you think you want, only to decide and discover that it really left you pretty empty and unfulfilled? Who else is trying to decide what they're going to be when they grow up? All of us are being guided and being drawn to discover a way of bringing our own divine soul nature into our human experience. Did you know each one of you is a divine being having a human experience? Therefore, doesn't it make logical sense that we should be combining our divine soul nature? That's the way to a lot more fulfilling life. Every single person in here has soul level gifts that typically you don't necessarily use because you don't necessarily know what they are. Hi, I'm Lea Beth LaDue. I am the owner and creator of Earth Angel Tools. I am a teacher and author. I am a property clearing expert. I am a soul realignment specialist, and I'm an intuitive coach and consultant. And I'm here to help you live your highest and best life. That is my deepest hope and desire for each of you. I work with people who are deeply committed to figuring out something new. They want to discover why they don't feel as fulfilled. So I want to help people be able to release their gifts. As I said, each one of you has soul level gifts. The problem is none of us were taught to embrace those. We were all taught we should aspire for something else. And actually, we were just perfect the way we were created. We all are, we're like snowflakes. No two of us are exactly alike. And therefore, we are all needed in this world. The patchwork of the earth, of the world, will not be the same if you don't show up and be your own true, authentic self. I grew up in Southwest Oklahoma. I've been a spiritual seeker and light worker since I was a small child. However, growing up in Southwest Oklahoma, you just want to fit in. And being a child that sees things and just knows things is not really fitting in. So I stuffed my own spiritual gifts and became a student, a teacher, a wife, a mother, ultimately a realtor as well. But all the while, I was thirsty. I was starving, actually, for any information that I could get about spirituality. So, of course, I studied healing, I studied Reiki, I studied past life regressions, I studied channeling, you name it, the more woo-woo, the better. Of course, never told anybody, that that's what I was doing. But I finally got to a place that I still didn't feel comfortable. I still didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. What can help you figure out what you want to do when you grow up is to finally recognize what your soul level gifts are, who you really are at soul level, and do more of that. And do less of the things that are negative. So you do want to start making positive choices in alignment with who you are and less of the negative. So for example, one of my gifts is called Divine Power, and it's all about free will and choice. So I don't do obligation very well. In fact, I don't even like to fly because I'm on somebody else's schedule. I finally figured that out. I kept going, it's not that I'm scared of flying, but I don't like being on somebody else's schedule. Free will and choice. So I have learned to let go of obligation and give myself little freedoms. So that's how you figure out what your soul level gifts are. One of the things that I work with folks is to let them know who they are at soul level so that they can say, oh, yes, I need more freedom, or no, I should be a teacher, or writer, or speaker, etc. So it's so important to know who you really are. That's called your divine soul blueprint. And that's who you are from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, which is amazing. It doesn't matter how you do it. It matters how you do it. It doesn't matter what you do, how you express it, how you do it, and how you are true to yourself is what matters. Now, people, as I said, almost never know what their gifts are, what their soul level gifts are. And so there's, of course, lots of different ways that they may be blocking that. For one, they may not believe that they have soul level gifts. They may not believe that they deserve to know or deserve to have a fulfilling life. Or they may have grown up in a dysfunctional family. I certainly know I did, and we all need to find the gifts in what we have, in the experiences that we have, even if they are negative. And boy, there's been some doozies. We've all had some really negative stuff go on in our lives. But once you can actually shift it and see what the gift was in your own life, it makes a huge difference. And remember, you're a divine being, and you attracted that into your life. I know it doesn't sound like it when you're a 2-year-old child and you're in an alcoholic family, but you chose your family. So we start taking responsibility even long before one would think we're making choices, because we're making choices at soul level. So learn to take responsibility. That's going to be key for you. Now, one of the things I do in my spiritual business is I do help coach people, let them know what their soul level gifts are and how they could shift doing dysfunctional things to more functional, positive choices. However, if you're not ready to do the deep dive, there are the other things that you can do. And that is the basis of my business, Earth Angel Tools, because each one of us has a spiritual toolkit. A spiritual tool is simply something that allows you to see, feel, or hear the etheric, quiet, feathery, soft voice of your soul or voice of your guides and angels. Yes, you have a staff. You have a staff of guides, you have angels, you have deceased loved ones that want to see you succeed. We are not here by ourselves. Yay! Woohoo! Who knew? So any tool is something that can help you hear, see, feel, or be aware of the message. The first tool that I want to talk about, and by the way, I have over 20 tools listed in my book and workbook, but the first tool that I wanted to talk about today was meditation, because we all need to quiet the monkey brain. And I know everybody here goes, oh, I can't meditate. Oh, I suck at meditation, right? Yes, you can. And an easy way to ease into that would be to take a guided meditation with a wonderful message and a wonderful set of background music, and just learn to breathe and learn to relax and learn to allow it. Okay? It'll give you an opportunity to actually really get in touch with the voice of your soul. The second Earth Angel tool that I want to talk about is a journal. Because we all are having psychic experiences all the time. I know it doesn't seem like it, but you are. You're receiving messages all the time. You just need to perk up your little antennas and listen, okay? So what I recommend is that you get a little journal, and you always write down the little weird, is that a psychic experience? I don't know. Okay, I'll write it down. Okay? Pretty soon you're going to have a body of proof for yourself saying, OMG, I'm psychic. Well, look at that. And that's how we're meant to work, actually, is to be psychic. I know psychics have a bad name, but that's what we're meant to be. For example, one that I put down in my own little book was, my father passed away several years ago, and of course, I knew that he was still with me. But, you know, you still miss him. And so I was asking for a couple of messages. I'm like, okay, come on, Daddy, I know you can do it. And so I had some visitors in town. I live in Albuquerque. Well, I live in Santa Fe now, but I lived in Albuquerque, and I had visitors in. So we went down to Albuquerque Old Town, and I walked into this cheesy curio shop that had a whole display of keychains with names on them. And they were meant to be flashing, but there was only one that was flashing. George, my dad's name. So, of course, had to buy it. But then I also had to go write down in my journal because, oh my gosh, who would believe that, right? Well, I have the keychain. But, you know, so create your own body of proof. It's so important. It's so helpful. The last Earth Angel tool that I'm going to talk about today is my pendulum. And I didn't bring one up here to work with, but a pendulum, let's face it, is a rock on a string, right? So the question is, it doesn't have consciousness, but what it does when you set your intention is it does connect you to your subconscious mind. It connects you to your guides, to your angels, to your departed loved ones, to ascended masters. It's whoever you set your intention that it's going to connect with. Now, your pendulum cannot give you explanations, but your pendulum can give you a yes or no answer. Okay? So, funny story, and my husband does know I'm telling this on him. When we first started dating about 9 years ago, every once in a while we would have a dust up, misunderstanding, miscommunication, whatever. I'd be really ticked off. And so I would grab my pendulum, I'd be at home, that SOB, I can't believe it. And I'd grab my pendulum and I would say, okay, is Matthew the best one for me? And I'm talking to my angels and they're saying, yes, he's the one for you. And I'm going, okay, really? And if I was particularly annoyed with him, I might even say, "Are you sure?" I mean, because really, they kept saying yes. So I would go back and try to make the relationship work again. And good news is we did end up making the relationship work, and we were happily married. But I did tell him I was going to tell this story. So all of us have tools. And as I said, I have over 25 listed in my book and workbook, but you need to pick out whatever tools work best for you and play with them. Don't make this an assignment, for heaven's sakes. This is fun. Our lives are meant to be joyful and exciting. What I hope for each and every one of you is that you find a way to incorporate your soul level gifts, because you deserve it. Each and every one of you.